Our guest is George Robinson, a cannabis consultant and grower. His day job is CEO of RavenQuest BioMed, a producer, but he's also interim CEO of an outfit called Bonify, which got into trouble with regulators over a mysterious cannabis delivery. He joins us now for a look at how he's trying to right the ship over there. So Bonify, tell us what went wrong.
Yeah, so I think a lot of irregularities started to show up, and some of the frontline workers saying, we cannot do some of the things that are being done in this facility. What ended up happening is they brought in 210 kilograms of, I have to use the word, non-authorized cannabis into the facility, and they started bringing up this information. So that went up to the board. The board called me in. We had to take care of releasing 3 of their senior executives, and where we're at right now is just trying to figure out what else do we have to find in the business to get it back to where the shareholders really want this company to be, which is a premier cannabis company.
So they're Winnipeg-based, and they had to suspend their sales in Saskatchewan, for example, their legal sales.
Yeah, actually, we voluntarily stopped sales.
Okay,
right?
okay.
The status of the license.
Voluntarily, yeah.
We did not lose any of the licensing once we came in. Health Canada looked at how we took care of very decisively and immediately. We took care of the problem that's in there. But then we voluntarily said that we won't sell until we can go back and look at all the documents and records to make sure that we know in the last 7 or 8 months since the senior management team was there, is there anything else that we have to know from the record-keeping side? Is there anything else that we have to sort of expose before we should get sales going again? So it's all been something that we've really well orchestrated with the province and with the feds.
And does this seem to have been something like a desperate measure to fulfill a supply commitment?
I think it's like everyone. If you can't, there's penalties and fees that you're having to pay to the province.
Yeah.
So it's a lost opportunity cost that you can't get back if you have to pay a fine. So unfortunately, people are making some very bad choices.
Do you think other companies might be looking to unauthorized supply here?
Well, I can't speak for them, but
yeah.
the people that, when we started looking through the process of how this got in here and some of the people who were a part of that, they are making claims that they'd been selling to other licensed producers.
Significant players?
I would say that everyone who's got a supply problem may have been impacted by this type of activity.
Now, and where do we even know much about where this came from? Was it organized crime?
Well, we can't say that. All we know is there was a broker that was involved, and we don't know where the broker got the cannabis. But we supplied all that information to Health Canada in a redacted format. They are now taking a look at their opportunities of what they want to do with that information. So I don't know exactly where it was grown, but I can tell you when we tested that product, it had mold, yeast, E. coli, and pesticides and herbicides that were not allowed or not authorized. So we know that it didn't come from any place that was growing properly.
Why wouldn't Health Canada just yank the license at Bonify?
Well, I think what really the issue was is they knew like someone like us with a very good reputation in the industry was going to come out and say, all right, let's do the right things and let's right the ship back the right way. I think that's what Health Canada really wants here, is to make sure that we don't even put more supply at risk and at issue. So as long as you do the right thing the right way, you're communicating appropriately with the regulator, I think they're willing to have a discussion around how to make sure that this facility continue operating. Remember, in the past, it had a stellar record, a stellar record for every one of the inspections and audits that had happened to it. It was only in the last 7 months or so that they started to see irregularities and a culture shift away from being a proud producer of cannabis to someone who is trying to fly by the seat of their pants, potentially.
Apparently some of the employees tried to object and they were just shut down or ignored.
Yeah, I use the words bullied. They were bullied into doing what they knew was not the right thing to do, and that's unfortunate. So we have a lot of information that we could glean from emails and other interviews that we did that, yeah, sure enough, they were going to lose their jobs if they didn't do what they were told, which is unfortunate. You don't want people to have to be in that position.
Now, it's always easy to point fingers, just talking nationally. The rollout, I mean, it's innovative. No big country has ever done this before, so there's going to be glitches. But are there a couple of mistakes that were made, do you think?
I think overall in the process, Health Canada got it, for the most part, right. I mean, can it always be better? Great, yes, it can be. But I think it's unfair to put all the blame on just how we want to actually start the process. It's always easier to start out with a tight operating procedure and then open it up, or regime, and then open it up. If you allow it to go crazy, like California or Colorado, now they're trying to right the wrong down there by putting in new processes to minimize the impact that you could have with a massive rollout of a product. So I think they're starting off tight, and they can open it up if they so choose. But I think it was the right path to go.
I got to ask you, do you think there will be social damage from this increased availability of cannabis?
I don't think so. I think that it's a fairly healthy type of plant, but again, it all comes down to anything. If you eat too much food, eat too much anything, you can have a bad impact. But I think what it really is going to do, Canadians have been using it for a long, long time. It just hasn't been in the legal market. So I don't think we're changing society at all.